Good morning, everyone. It's 7 a.m. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Why do I have my robe on? I always have this hat on because this is the colder part of the house, so it keeps my head warm. But now I had to drop a robe on. Our heat, our heat went out last night. I was like, and you're kind of walking around and you're like, it's a little chilly, but you don't realize that the heat might be the issue because you're not. It's always been fine, and so then we were like, oh, it's kind of cold. So I said, oh, let me put on a robe, and then right before we went to bed, we realized the heat was, we were pretty low. Turned it on. I heard it click on. It clicked on. I was happy. I was like, all right, cool. So let's go to bed. Woke up this morning. It was like 60 or 63 in the house, freezing. So I literally just went down to the basement and just reset it, and it turned on. I saw flames, and I hear the radiators kind of percolating and coming on. So hopefully by the end of the show we'll have a warm house. But anyway, not a good time for that to happen, right? It's I just checked the temperature. It's 19 degrees. But there we are. Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, January 29th, and we are having an interesting interesting conversation today because of what is currently happening on Wall Street, which, whoa, funny enough and ironically enough, don't do anything illegal. That's the that's today's uh, precept that we just happen to be on, which is number 9 of the 21 precepts of the way to happiness by L. Ron Hubbard, written in 1981. And so, yeah, we have some drama going on right now on Wall Street. Now, I don't invest. I do invest in stocks. I have a couple of things that not related to that. They're very small tech companies that might do well. One is a tech company with a shipping component, and the other one is sort of a similar thing. It's a tech company. Um, but with this whole thing with GameStop and Robinhood, I mean, it's been really an incredible thing. It's robbery. I mean, it is tremendously illegal. It's rich people seeing others getting rich and being like, oh, no, 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 hold on, no, you can't get that rich. So we're gonna stop trading this because we don't want our guys to get hurt. Our rich billionaires, we don't want them to get hurt. So I know billionaires get a bad rap, and I've actually met billionaires, and they're pretty much normal people. And I've met a lot of millionaires also, and they're just nice people. They're regular people. They deserve the money that they work for. The ones that are honest, the ones that are dishonest, and this is what happens when you have rich people doing illegal things. Is that it gives a bad rap to rich people. I follow Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone is on the new show, Undercover Billionaire, I think it is. The guy is super, super wealthy. I follow him and his family on social media, um, and I just completely trust them because I see them on a daily basis. I see what they're doing. They're helping like millions of people. They're putting together these tremendous events. I've seen people like who else? Elon Musk, Richard Branson. There's a lot of you know billionaires that you can see, and you can kind of put them. Even Warren Buffett. I know Warren. Just a nice guy. He's never been caught up in anything illegal. Which, I mean, how long of a career has he had in finances? And has not ever been caught up in illegal things. I mean, it's incredible. It's really is incredible, and these guys just are sort of like, you know, low, low rich guys. I mean, they're not even rich, right? They're spiritually poor when you think about it. You can have all the material and all the money and everything in the world, but at the end of the day, you're gonna take that last breath, lying in your bed, and you're gonna think to yourself, well, what now? My my money ain't gonna get me anywhere. Where am I going next? What's happening next? And that last breath is usually already too late for you to make any kind of reconciliation with anything. Um, and it's pretty sad because it happens all the time. People that have behaved badly and have done illegal things, they die, and it's got to be a horrible feeling to have those last few minutes left where you are conscious or at least aware enough to know that this is it. And now what? Maybe I shouldn't have done. Maybe I shouldn't have stolen money from hardworking people. Hmm. Yeah, you probably shouldn't, because now I think your future is not going to be too bright. So that's kind of scary. That's kind of scary for them. It's really scary. So anyway, today's precept is, like I said, ironically, it's called "Don't Do Anything Illegal," and it's a couple pages actually. So maybe I won't read all of it. I'll read the first page, and then I'll read maybe a couple of paragraphs from the next few pages. Um, but it's very interesting. So anyway, he says here, illegal acts are those which are prohibited by official rules or law. They are the product of rulers, legislative bodies, and judges. They are usually written down in law codes. In a well-ordered society, these are published and made known generally. In a cloudy and often crime-ridden society, one has to consult an attorney to be specially trained to know them all. Such a society will tell one that ignorance is no excuse for breaking the rule, for breaking the law. An illegal act is not disobedience to some casual order like go to bed. It is an action which if done can result in punishment by the court and state. When one does something illegal, small or large, one is laid open to an attack by the state. It does not matter whether one is caught or not. When one does an illegal act, one has weakened one's defenses. Almost any worthwhile thing one is trying to accomplish often can be done in perfectly legal ways. The illegal route is a dangerous and time wasting shortcut. Imagined advantages in committing illegal acts usually turn out not to be worth it. When you realize or discover that those about you are committing illegal acts, you should do what you can to discourage it. You yourself, not even a party to it, can yet suffer because of it. The firm's accountant falsifies the books. In any resulting commission, the firm could fail and you could lose your job. Such instances can grossly affect one's own survival. As a member of any group subject to laws, encourage a clear cut publication of those laws so they can be known. Support any legal political effort to reduce, clarify, and codify the laws that apply to that group. Adhere to the principle that all men are equal under law, a principle which, in its own time and place, the tyranny days was one of the greatest social advantages in human history and should not be lost of sight. See that children and people become informed of what is legal and what is illegal, and make it known, if by as little as a frown, that you do not approve of illegal acts. Those who commit them, even when they get away with them, are yet weakened before the might of the state. The way to happiness does not include the fear of being found out. So there you have it. Legal activities going on. Um, so I had some stories about growing up in my environment that I was talking about yesterday, and then this whole thing came up on Wall Street, which kind of made my uh, my job even easier to really talk about because it's happening in real time. For me growing up, illegal activities were based on um, I instinctively, maybe not instinctively, I think it was instilled in me by my grandparents, knew that illegal acts were wrong. I knew what was illegal. I knew you shouldn't take things that didn't belong to you. I knew that you shouldn't lie. You shouldn't cheat others of something, even time. Sometimes can be cheat someone of their time, right? Wasting somebody's time. All these things are bad, right? Now, an illegal act is something that really is it's codified, right? It's written down. It's been this is not what you should do. If you see something that you should not take it. So Wall Street has these very interesting regulations and these interesting uh, things where they write down just enough regulations to kind of make sure that the big guys are getting what they want and that the small guys are just getting a little bit here and there, but not. But there is definitely a controlled environment on some of these things. Now, of course, you can get lucky and think of an industry that's just going public and say, hey, you know what, this sounds like a good idea. I'm going to put money into it. Those that looked at Netflix early on, those that Google and all those companies that people were like, hey, how maybe I'll put my money into Google, right? um and it's this famous story of that woman that lent or not lent or invested $1,000 into Google at the beginning, and made now is a millionaire because of it. She bought 1,000 shares of Google, so do the math on what Google is worth. So she's got some cash right now, and that was just a gamble, right? I mean, that's what the stock market is. It's a gamble, but it should be a fair gamble, right? It should be like some people will make money. You put your money into something and it makes money. That's awesome. You put your money into something and it doesn't make money. Well, that's awesome too, because that's how it works. It's called gambling. It's this the stock market. You know what I mean? Now you can educate yourself and make some kind of educated guess, and there are people that are experts on the stock market. How much how expert they are. I don't know. Because they don't have a crystal ball. But when you're dealing with a system that's semi-rigged, where you have people, insider trading is illegal, right? um, Insider trading means basically somebody told them that this company is doing this thing and that they're probably going to increase in value or decrease in value, or there's some information on a company, and they go in and they get this information, so they make the proper financial decisions based on that information that they got from insider trading. So once they get that information, they make a ton of money, or they save and they don't lose their money, right? So this, as illegal as this is, I can't imagine that it's not going on, right? Because there's a desperation that some people have for being successful and having a lot of money, right? There is a, people will sell their souls to the devil to be famous, to be, Hollywood, Wall Street, regular businesses, Fortune 500 companies. There are people there that are just dying for that Porsche and that fancy apartment in New York City and the house down the shore and the fancy cars. That's what they want. They'll do whatever it takes to get those material things because their minds are kind of uh, screwed up, um, and they operate just on based on those things. So the decisions that people make are not based on how can this help someone, right? It's based on how can this help me get these things that I so desperately need in my life, and you see them. I see them on social media. I know I know who they are. You can see some of the influencers that are so desperate that they just take pictures with fancy cars, even though the cars don't belong to them. They want that, and they feel that, well, you know what? If I put myself in the position of saying that I have it and I keep saying that I have it, well, then I'm going to get it, and it just doesn't work that way. I mean, it works that way in a sense where you have good intentions and you say, I see myself doing this. Like when I was younger, I saw myself on stage playing guitar. Then I saw myself being in movies. I saw myself directing. I saw myself, and I still see myself doing those things in a much bigger scale. But to help others, to entertain, to make people laugh and feel good, and cry and reflect and all those things. I want to affect the world in a positive way. So that's my vision of how I see things, and that whole thing people talk about visualization, right? And just seeing yourself in those positions. Well, yeah, that's a thing, But these guys and girls are so involved in the material world that this is all they want, And I think Madonna's song said it best, right? The material world. We're all living in a material world. And if you listen to that song, it's pretty much still is relevant as far as lyrically, because there are people out there who just love that rush of that feeling of like, wow. It's why even like growing up in the, in a in the inner cities, you have people selling drugs, and what's one of the first things they do when they make a big score? They don't go and buy a house for their parents or go pay their parents' bills. No, they go buy themselves some gold chains and some fancy clothes and get themselves a nice fancy car and they drive around. Where do they drive around? In the ghetto, in the same ghetto that they're in. That's where because they want to reflect that. They want to show look what I've accomplished. Look how successful I am. And you're not successful at all if you're selling drugs, right? You're actually below. This is success, this is failure, this is loser, and you're down here somewhere in this, when you're selling actual chemicals that destroy people's brains, right? You're not a good person, and deep down you actually know that. you know Deep down everyone knows what they're really doing. Now they cloud it up, right? They occlude their views or their emotions towards that, right? They block it out. It's not. They don't see it. They think they're doing exactly what they should be doing. They're doing great. They got money, right? Again, obsessed with that thing, with that illusion of the cash, right? Money is really just energy, right? Money is just something that you use. It's a tool, right? Money is not. It's not a thing that you have and you hold on to and you say, "Well, when I die, I'm taking all this stuff with me," right? Because you're not. It's like, how much money can you make, and then how much money can you give out, or how much help can you give out? How much how much awareness can you give to individuals? That is really what money is for. It's for energy, right? So when you find yourself in a position where, or in an environment where there's a illegal activity, if you're aware of it and you don't do anything about it, or you don't even, or you just go along with it, well, you are definitely part of that crime. And if somebody comes down, you can't say, "Well, I didn't do it. Did you know about it?" Well, yeah, but put your hands behind your back, sir. Because you are just as guilty. And you know now, to a certain degree, to a certain level of safety, I will say that there were times when I was growing up where people were selling drugs right in front of me. Now, was I gonna be like, "Excuse me, guys, I really find it completely inappropriate that you gentlemen are actually selling chemicals to our youth and destroying our community. If you don't quit that, I'm going to actually have to call the authorities and have you all, I'm not going to do that because they would probably shoot me and kill me, right? There's a safety mechanism. So that there was a violent environment where that's going on, right? Same thing if you're, with the mafia, right? I'm fascinated about the mafia and I watch a lot of mafia movies and documentaries and stuff. I'm fascinated because I see the products that they create are they create things based out of fear. And then if they're into drugs, which I know a lot of people, a lot of mafia guys were not into the drug part. They didn't want to get into that because it's dirty money, right? But a lot of them did, and they just was like, whatever, it's money, and it's money for all my fancy cars, my fancy house, and whatever, and that's all I care about. And it's just a fascinating thing to see someone completely sell their soul for these material things when at the end of the day you die, you turn to dust, and there's nothing, you don't take anything with you. So pretty incredible, um incredible phenomenon that goes on in the minds of individuals that commit illegal acts. And sad, tragic tragedy. Anyway, all right, folks, thank you very much for listening. I appreciate all of y'all. Stay safe out there, protect yourselves, get the information, learn what's happening on Wall Street and learn what's happening with your money and put your money in safe places. I have my money in Bitcoin. And people talk about Bitcoin, oh, it's gonna crash. It's not real money. Is it? Well, it is to me because I put almost nothing in it, and I have a pretty nice return on my money, and it's just going up and it fluctuates. I mean, it went down significantly and then it went really, really super high up. Um, where is it going to go? I don't care because what the money that I invested, I'm okay with losing. That's the key thing on investing, right? If you have $1,000 and you're like, you know what, I'm going to put this in there, and if I lose $1,000, yeah, whatever, I lost it, but I'm going to give it a shot because I have a good feeling about it, and you throw it in there. And if you lose it, you look back and you're like, ah, damn it, But if it hits, if that woman decided not to give that guy $1,000, I mean, you know, she'd be very, very upset right now. I can tell you that much. But she said, you know what? Here's $1,000. If this thing called Google, she couldn't even pronounce it. When Google, what does that mean? Google, like when you Google, oh, all right, Google, whatever. Here's $1,000. Let's see what happens. And it hit for her. So I think it's important that we all educate ourselves financially on where's a good place to put your money. And I'm talking about your energy, right? Not the green paper, because here in this country we just print out more, right? It's like, well, we need more money, run the machine faster. But that's not really, because there's no production behind it, there's no energy behind it other than the machine. So you have to actually produce things, to make money, to generate the interest, to generate energy that will return you something, right? So find out where you want to put that energy and what comes back. How are you going to get it? You're going to get it in gold. You're going to put it into a Bitcoin. You're going to put it into the bank. You're going to, just try to figure out where is the best place and educate yourselves. I'm not a financial expert, so I'm not giving anybody any financial information here of any type. This is for entertainment purposes and to make everyone feel like they can go out and do things on their own and have hope and be successful. So that's my little disclaimer to everyone. But anyway, God bless you all. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you all on Monday. Monday is number 10. And number 10 is support a government designed and run for all the people. That's number 10. So we're going to be talking about government. Oh boy. Tune in on Monday and Monday morning, 7 a.m. And we'll discuss that. Please tell your friends about the show if you like this, if you're interested, if you want to actually comment here. I'm always taking questions and getting into the conversation with everyone. And I hope that this provides some value for you. I wish you the best. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless you all. And I'll see you Monday. And as always, peace.